Hi everyone, welcome to Glen Home Farm Kitchen. I'm Ben.
I'm Maureen.
And today we're going to show you how to turn these ingredients into some stuffed artichokes.
So stuffed artichokes is one of my all-time favorite family recipes. We have it every year at Easter, and I'm pretty sure it originated with my grandmother, Dorothy Lombardi Antonellis, and she passed it on to my mom, Diane McGuire, and now I'm passing it on to Ben and Ryan, and so I don't know if the way that we make it is exactly how my grandmother made it, but it's basically the same feel, so hopefully I'll do her justice. The first step you need to do for stuffed artichokes is, so artichokes have these little spikes on the edge of all their leaves, and it actually really hurts if it gets you. So what we do for the first job is we remove all the little tops of the leaves like this. And you know we can... Okay, so first step is to cut off the stem of the artichoke. You want to get it as flat as possible so that when you put it in the pan to cook, it stands up on its own, not topple over like, you know. Oh, hey, wow, I just created a new thing. Like that. Anyway, so I'm gonna chop mine off too. Did you just swear? All right, so nice and flat. Oh, there we go, perfect. So, cut the stems off. Don't put these in your disposal because it will kill your disposal. So these leaves and everything are gonna go in the trash, not the disposal. Or compost if you do that. Okay. First thing, turn this over and give it a good squish down to naturally open up the thing.
Okay, and then you take your shears, your kitchen shears, you stick it in the middle, and you just, you know, get it all around, bring it around town.
Work it open.
And you open all the leaves up. And
loosen the leaves.
Right. And then that way it's easier to like go around and cut them open.
And so we're snipping off like the top quarter of the leaves, just to get that sharp part off.
Fun fact, an artichoke is actually a cactus, not a vegetable. That's why you gotta remove the venomous spikes at the top.
Are they venomous?
I believe this is the internet, they believe anything.
Oh, okay, all right, venomous. I don't know if they're actually
poisonous. Sorry.
I don't think they're poisonous.
Wait, it's like venomous. If it bites you, you die. If poisonous, if you bite it, you die.
Right? I don't think either one.
I
don't think you're gonna die either way. I'm
afraid of artichokes biting me, like wild artichokes.
They are aggressive plants, that's for sure. Like they can hurt you.
When's the harvest season for artichokes?
It's a spring vegetable, which is why it ends up being an Easter menu item. But this is the year 2020. We're making this during the COVID-19 quarantine. And even though it's April 17th today, 2020, it snowed yesterday. And there's snow in the forecast tonight. So strange times that we're experiencing.
Some apocalypse artichokes.
Yeah. This is not going well for me.
I cut my own hair the other day.
I know.
And also my brother's hair and eyebrow. Because he wanted me to. Ryan, you can show off your eyebrow to people. Okay. Hey guys.
Okay, so I've got all the outer leaves trimmed. So now I'm gonna like just work on this inside. Here's the inside choke that we wanna also get rid of. So you just get your shears in there and pretty much just, you know, get the top layer. This is also not edible, this purple, when it turns purpley, that's sharp and venomous, as Ben would say. It's not venomous, but you don't want it. So I just snip out as much as I can of that.
So when you're done this whole process, this is what your artichoke should look like. See how there's none of the, this is the started one. See how there's all like the pointy bits? This one has none of the pointy bits and none of the choke on the inside either.
Actually, you have choke in there.
No, I don't. I cut it all
Look
off.
at mine.
Oh,
look at mine.
Better.
I mean, either one is fine. It's not that there's a right or wrong. It's a style. It's an art.
A choke.
It's a choke.
It's an artichoke.
I like the stuffing so much that I like to remove the choke enough so that I can shove it full with the stuffing. Normally, just a tip, insider tip, we usually trim these over the trash can or the compost bin so that there's not a mess here.
So let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing over quarantine. Personally, I've been building a guitar in the past couple of days. I'm kind of at a standstill right now because I'm waiting for my paint to arrive.
And actually, that's a good segue to say thank you so much to anybody, of course, our doctors, nurses, hospital staff, anybody, but also in addition to those heroes, anybody who is still working, like all of our essential workers at the supermarkets, DPW, truck drivers, we all feel the same way. You guys, seriously, we're so grateful. Delivery people, that's what made me think of it. We're very grateful to you and your families. Ryan, what have you been doing?
Funny you should ask. Over quarantine, I have been doing a lot of baking. I've been making cookies, I've been making some bread. To drop the artichoke.
Alright, are you recording?
Yep.
Alright, so we should have thought ahead, and while we were trimming those artichokes, it would be a good, I know, we didn't think ahead. It's a good idea to get your a big pot of water boiling.
And we actually have this cool, like, instant boil. So as you can see, the water is not boiling, and then you put the lid on. And now it's boiling! And I'm wearing an oven mitt all of a sudden, and Mom's holding salt. Alright, so anyway, salt the water.
So we're gonna, now that it's up to boiling, we're gonna heavily salt the water. So, I like things salty. You kind of want it to be like the ocean, is what they say.
Salty like the sea.
Salty like the sea. So that was a lot of salt. And
that was cool.
So, ow, oh, you got me. That's all right, I'll survive. So they're gonna float. I sink them down so that they fill with water while they cook. And let's check the time. And set the time for 10 minutes. And while these are boiling, I'm also going to preheat the oven. We're gonna put it on bake 375, preheat.
So for 4 artichokes, we use about a loaf of Scali bread.
A full loaf of the large Scali bread. I actually am a big fan of Roche Bros Scali Bread. Shout out to Roche Bros in Natick. Because
we're not sponsored, by the way.
We're not sponsored, but if they want to, call me. So what you do, you just take the sliced bread and rip it up into little bite-sized pieces, like about the size of something that would fit inside the artichoke leaf.
And that's a little bit of foreshadowing to what we're gonna do after we make the filling.
It doesn't need to be fresh. It can be a little bit stale, but you don't want it dry as a rock either.
Like meatballs.
What?
You know, like...
So it works out to about 6 slices of bread per artichoke. However, this size slice is a big difference from this size slice. So, you know, it's not exact. It's give or take. Use your, you know, best judgment. During this quarantine is...
Wait, hold on. How many times have we had artichokes since quarantine started?
This is the second time.
This is the 3rd time.
Oh my god, that's right. Oh my god, this is the 3rd time we've made artichokes since this.
There's been a lot of farting in this house.
What did you say?
There's been a lot of farting in this house.
Yeah. They can cause a little stomach gas.
Ain't nothing a little Pepto-Bismol can't fix, am I right?
I don't know. I don't do Pepto.
Don't do Pepto, kids. Kids, stay in school. Don't do Pepto-Bismol.
Wait, we are not sponsored by Pepto either.
Except for if you want to sponsor.
Except for if you want to sponsor us. We're
hey, if anyone's watching who works for Pepto, you know, hit me up.
Are you recording?
Yep.
Okay. That alarm is telling us that it's our artichoke. Oops, here. Whoops, not the thing. Nope. Okay. So that's parboiled. So we're gonna let me get those out of the water. I actually make sure they're upside down. Oh, that's hot. Ow.
Mom, watch out.
And you know what? Yeah, so I put them upside down so they can drain the water out while we finish making the stuffing.
Why don't we want water in it?
Because you don't. You just don't. That's why. This is what one large loaf of Scali bread from Roche Bros looks like after it's all torn up into its bite-sized pieces. And this is the part where it gets tricky. The amounts of ingredients. So these are our ingredients that we add to it. Olive oil, red wine vinegar. Our family is a fan of Progresso red wine vinegar for this recipe.
Again, not a sponsor, but if
Not a
you want to
sponsor, but
sponsor
give us a call.
We'll do it.
Garlic. We're going to be using a couple cloves of garlic.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored by the garlic industry, but we're fans. And then really good Parmesan cheese. And you know, here's where my original recipe that was passed down to me actually called for Romano cheese, which I love also. We're in a quarantine. I couldn't go to my usual, when I want really good Parmesan cheese, I've been going to Tutto Italiano, which is a store in Wellesley with really good, not a sponsor, but give me a call. You want to use your best quality Parmesan for this recipe because it's basically the shining flavor. So usually we just go like, whoa, and see what it looks like and then add more and then see what it looks like. So that's why we don't actually know what the amounts are. So we're gonna fill a 1/4 cup of olive oil and then see if we need to add more or if we need, I don't think it'll be less. I think we'll only need more. Just, you know, send it in there. Mixing this with our hands. So forget about the COVID-19 situation. When we're making this, we wash our hands a million times. So I'm gonna have Ben mix that up with his hands. His freshly washed hands. I forgot to wash. You did not.
Yeah, I did.
All right, I'm gonna drizzle some more.
Okay.
You know what, my guess is we're gonna be doubling this amount. We're moving this measurement up to a 1/2 cup of olive oil for 1 loaf of bread.
Or 2 1/4 cups.
Or 2 1/4 cups if you're like us today. All right, so we're gonna continue. I think it's gonna be 1/2 cup. Let's see if we stop early. Maybe it's, what? I don't know. We'll figure out the math later. It would be a 1/4 cup plus 1/8 of a cup.
Right.
Oh, you're so right.
3/8.
It's 3/8.
1/8.
I was right.
So it might be
Shout out to
3/8.
Miss Egan, my math teacher, for teaching me everything I know
All right, math teachers.
about math.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
We're
So we are doing 1/2 cup.
Looks like it.
definitely 1/2 cup. So we're gonna go for a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. Listen to that sound. Let's see how this goes. That looks like a lot. I don't know. I think it might. Oh, jeez. Okay. So this is an important ingredient to not like drop all in one spot. So I'm gonna have Ben mix that up so that all the vinegar doesn't end up on only one section. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Drizzle, drizzle. Usually it's
You have to make that noise when you...
drizzle, drizzle.
But you want to be tasting it while you're going.
All right, so this is when the tasting part becomes very important, is we need to put in the garlic and the cheese and the salt. So we're gonna do for 1 loaf, I'm guessing it's 2 large minced garlic cloves. Go for it. That's 1. Look at those muscles. And then Kaplan. Woo! We'll see how that goes. We're gonna so the garlic is the most important part to make sure it gets spread all around the breading, because you don't want a clump of garlic in one place and the rest of it bland.
So you want to mix it with a spoon until like the garlic's pretty spread out, because you don't want your hands smelling like garlic. But then once it's like pretty spread out, I just go in with my hands. And just give it a good tossy toss.
Yeah.
A little mixy mix.
Like definitely mix up that garlic. Break it up from each other, get it spread around. All right, so let's see. We're gonna start with a 1/4 cup of the really good Parmesan cheese. And I'm gonna say this is probably not enough.
This is the 1 measuring cup recipe, as long as you have a 1/4
I know,
cup.
so we'll do 1/2 cup. Cause why not?
Why not?
I'm guessing 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, depending on how salty your Parmesan cheese is, this could get altered. Less if your cheese is salty, more if your cheese is not salty. You know, rocket science.
When you're trying it, be sure to try it all over the bowl.
Yeah.
Because some might just be especially garlicky or red wine vinegary or cheesy. So you just want to make sure that like it's consistent across the board.
Yes. Mixing is very important.
And tasting.
And
Mom, what time is it?
stuffing time.
Stuffing time.
All right, we've got our stuffing made, so that's what it should look like. So there's oil on almost every piece, but like I said, not dripping, but each piece has some oil, cheese, garlic, salt. Oh, by the way, the original recipe calls for pepper, just regular pepper. I don't like pepper, so I don't do pepper anymore. Nope, I don't want that. Ugh, I don't like pepper. So if you like pepper, add pepper. I don't like pepper. So who needs it? Just dirt. Okay.
Just
So,
dirt.
This is dirt. It doesn't taste good. So then to stuff your artichoke, you take your piece of stuffing and you fit it into the leaf.
So the method that I found works is that you hold it in the palm of your hand, you use your thumb to lift open the leaf, and then you use your other hand to pop it in. And then you just like rotate as you go. You just like use your thumb to open up the leaf and your other hand to pop it in.
And you don't have to stuff the bottom row because it's actually going to be sitting in some water in the pan while it bakes. So you don't have to stuff those because it'll just fill up with water and ruin the stuffing. So it's the second row from the bottom. Start there and start stuffing. Just like basically one or two pieces per leaf.
And you really can't skip this step. Otherwise it would just be regular artichokes and yeah.
All right, so this is what our 4 artichokes look like, fully stuffed. This is how much we have left. So we'll probably just shove this extra into wherever we can. It's better to have a little too much than not enough. You're just gonna add water to the bottom of the pan. Let's say is that a half an inch?
A couple centimeters. Maybe 1 or 2 centimeters.
I don't think we work in centimeters much here.
Right.
All right.
This is a grams recipe.
You can squeeze them in there. Give them a little drizzle.
Just a touch
Just
of
a
olive oil.
little drizzle of olive oil. So then we're going to cover this with tinfoil. Okay. So you put that on pretty tight and pop it into the oven, which is at 375. You can do it without burning myself. And that is going to cook for an hour. Oh, geez, that's hot. Watch out for the steam. Ta-da! Here they are. They look perfect. And the way that you make sure that they are cooked all the way is you just take one of the leaves and you should wiggle it and it should come out very easily. And so I usually leave the stuffing on. I'm sure that was so flattering. Beautiful. And then so you just pull the meat off the leaf and then you don't eat the leaf. If you make it yourself, let us know how it turns out. We are missing our people during this quarantine. We'd love to hear back from you if you make them. If you have questions, if we don't make sense about something that we said.
Right, yeah. Just leave a comment and I'll answer it pretty quickly. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to hit that. I need to monetize my videos.
Yes,
Mom.
like
I need to get those like play hours so I can start monetizing my videos and make a career out of it.
Yes, totally. Like and subscribe.
Let us know what recipe you want to see next.
Yeah, we could do another one. Thanks for watching.